Hey, gun people. That evil drug marijuana. The war on drugs. When you call a crime a war, it kind of makes the cops think they're an occupying military force. There's a correlation between mask and titles and names. So let's see how the cops handle this marijuana. They're growing marijuana. I mean, that's a big deal. You can't be growing a plant.
Franklin with the Chino Police Department's Professional Standards Unit. On July 3rd, our special enforcement team served a search warrant in the 6800 block of Rockrose Street at about 3:50 p.m. in response to complaints about potential drug cultivation and trafficking. These warrants are considered high risk because drug trafficking suspects are often armed.
I wonder if this woman got a free bowl with that haircut. They still give out free bowls at the... Never mind, I digress.
And dangerous.
Bitchute, knocking out.
Police Department, you have a search warrant.
Okay, so to me, right here, these cops don't look like they're entering a high-risk warrant. They are not nervous, their guns aren't pointed, and they're pretty relaxed. And although their guns are out, they are not what I would consider tense, in a high state of situational awareness, they're just not exhibiting. And somebody may go, well, how can you tell that, Rick? They're just standing there. I'm just telling you, from a cop perspective, and people that do high-risk things, you can tell these guys and this woman is not worried. They don't perceive a threat. Or they're just stupid, and that's the way they are all the time. I don't know which it is.
Come out with your hands up. Chino Police Department. Come out with your hands up or force may be used against you. We have a search warrant.
Okay, this guy needs to read a penal code because I'm pretty sure it lays it out a little bit better. You demand entry and state your authority and say you have a search warrant. This guy's kind of knocking like, I don't know, he's delivering a package. I mean, hell, I've had freaking UPS knock louder than this.
One more and then we'll brief it.
The Chino Police Department. Come out with your hands up or force may be used against you. We have a search warrant.
No response? Alright, let's breach.
Okay, so by law, they gave 3 notices. This is what's called knock notice. You knock, announce your authority, demand entry. I mean, normally mine went, police, search warrant, demand entry. And I would do that 2 or 3 times. But it would be much more aggressive. You would know that things are about to go bad if you don't open the door. This guy's kind of knocking nonchalant to me. I know some idiot's going to be, Rick, you just think you were perfect. I'm not saying I was perfect. I'm just saying, if you're going to do something, do it to where in court and when other people see it, they know and they understand. I would also put somebody in the back of the house when I did a knock notice, and I would make sure they heard me when I did the knock notice, because if we ever got called in court for not doing it and somebody's house goes, well, I didn't hear him, he wasn't loud enough. You know, now they got cameras and you can audio tape it and videotape it. But I'm thinking if somebody was in the back of this house, they would not have heard him. You heard me when I was doing knock notice. If you were in the back of the house, everyone heard me. All the neighbors, believe me.
Hit it, Ike, and then bounce out the way. Oh, there's your
Okay, so when he was knocking notice, this person had their gun up like it was a threat. And then when they make entry, kind of drops the gun and goes relax. Again, I don't see the big threat here that these guys are worried that they're going to encounter armed people.
There's a body. Open it, Steve. Let me see your hands.
When they opened the door, officers encountered a 53-year-old woman. They moved her.
Okay, first of all, you got all these people kind of stacked up at the door here. I don't know if they just saw her or whatever. They get her out. Great. I mean, shit happens, but your entry team, you've got to have a team that normally that snags these people and your entry team stays in cover. Right now, nobody's covering the door. She's pretty much made all these cops ineffective by walking out in front of them right now. I mean, it happens. I'm not saying there's 100 ways to, prevent it, but it just doesn't look like these guys. I mean, I wouldn't be letting her walk out. I've already demanded entry. She'd be snatched and thrown to the ground and handcuffed. She had her chances. Even though later you're going to find out, I don't think she understands. I'm going to be defending her in a minute. People will be calling me wishy-washy.
Out of the entryway, handcuffed her, and asked if anybody else was inside the house.
Did you notice that second person didn't really have their gun out here? Watch this guy after they move her out. This guy is kind of like standing here, gun in a holster, and just kind of
Out of the entryway,
nonchalantly
handcuffed
walks
her,
in.
and asked if anybody else was inside the house.
So it doesn't look, these cops do not look like they're doing a high-risk warrant.
Okay, let's do announcements, English, Spanish, use of force.
Attention inside the house of the Bitchute Police
Does she speak
Department.
English?
First one come out with your hands up. Force will be used against you.
Who? Yeah, you do, because you just said no. How many people inside?
So the guy goes, does she speak English? And she shakes her head no. And the guy goes, yes, you do. You just shook her head no. A lot of people that don't speak English, when you ask them something, a lot of times they'll either give you a yes or a no nod. Not knowing what you're saying, they're trying to show you that they're trying to communicate, but they may not be answering. I do not think that she knows what they're asking, but I could be wrong.
Is there anybody else inside the house? You don't want to hurt anybody. Is anybody else inside the house?
Who's in the house? Anybody in the house? How many people?
You understand. Don't play games. Who's inside? How many people? No.
See, I think her answer is, I don't understand. I think she's shaking, I don't understand. Could be wrong. I mean, I've been duped before. There's a lot of people that say they don't speak English, and a lot of times they do. You find out later, and you feel like a dummy. But her demeanor to me, I don't really think she understands. Maybe she does. But her husband ends up getting shot and killed because of it.
Nobody. No more people? No more people inside? No. Yes? No?
She indicated nobody else was.
See, now this spokesperson with the haircut says she indicated nobody was inside. I don't believe that. To me, you're not going to convince me that she knew what they were asking and that was an affirmative no. But for a cop standpoint, it's better because then we can say when we accidentally shoot somebody, we can say we thought nobody was inside because that's what she told us. Had she told us the truth, we wouldn't have shot him because we would have known somebody was inside. So this is a justification of this cop shooting this unarmed person hiding behind a door.
Inside. Then they began a methodical, deliberate search for additional suspects.
I'm waiting.
Spoiler alert. The person is behind the door that they are all standing with their back to right now. The person stayed behind the door for the whole time doing the entire entry. He's been behind the door. Nobody checked behind the door. Nobody smashed the door open hard. So if there was somebody behind it, they would scream. So they're all here with their backs. If this guy wanted to kill him, he could shoot them all now.
Yeah, it opens up both sides. Okay, I'll take one more with me.
I'll be with you soon.
I got
I'm
upstairs
with you.
left.
I got
We got an open door to the garage here. That left might be an opening, by the way, Tony.
You got kitchen to the left. You going low, Steve?
I can't tell if that's the front door or not now. Maybe it wasn't. I thought he was found behind the front door. Maybe that's the front door. We'll see.
I'm over the top to the left.
Oh, no, that's a room. That's not the front door.
Chino Police Department, come out with your hands up. Chino Police Department, come out with your hands up.
Let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead and work up to that landing to where you can get a spot.
There's a lot.
This wasn't cleared up.
Just have them.
They're just going to elevate to you.
Just have one.
These guys must not do a lot of clearing because they seem to me really unorganized, lackadaisical, kind of figuring it out as they go. That's just my opinion.
Okay. I'm going to...
See the guy behind the door? Been there the whole time. Front door. Nobody checked behind the door. Nobody slammed it against the wall. The entire time. So, is he wanting to kill anybody? No. He's scared. And now he gets shot and killed because he's scared. And he probably doesn't speak English. I'm not defending that they were doing an illegal grow, that they're stealing electricity, that they're leeches on society. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he gets killed because of what I call bad tactics.
Let me see your hands, dude. Oh, shit!
That was an accidental discharge. When a guy shoots and goes, "Oh shit," we call that a clue. That was an accidental discharge, and they're playing it off as this guy was a high-risk warrant, and he hid in the house, and she told us that there wasn't nobody in the house, and that's why we shot him. This is 100% accidental.
Let me see your hands, dude. Oh, shit!
Hello, I'm Wes Simmons, Chief of Police at the Chino Police Department.
Hello. I'm here to give you some bullshit because you don't know any better, and you'll trust me because I got a lot of stars on my collar.
We are sharing this critical incident community briefing to provide information about an officer-involved shooting that occurred on July 3rd, 2019. Our special enforcement team was serving a search warrant at a house involved in a drug trafficking and cultivation investigation.
Whoa, if we say drug trafficking, that makes it sound really dangerous. These two 50-year-old people in a home growing marijuana. Drug trafficking, ooh.
Several officers had walked in front of the door by the time an officer spotted a suspect hiding behind it.
Several officers walked the door while they... What'd she say? Let's hear this BS again.
Officers had walked in front of the door by the time an officer spotted a suspect hiding behind it. The officer instructed the man to show his hands. That's when the officer-involved shooting occurred.
The officer instructed him to show his hands, and that's when the shooting occurred. See how that's phrased? Instead of, the officer saw him, panicked, screamed, "Show me your hand," at the same time firing his gun, accidentally killing the suspect. That would be a more accurate, honest evaluation of what happened. That's not what they're saying.
The officer instructed the man to show his hands. That's when the officer-involved shooting occurred.
Let me see your hands, dude. Oh, shit!
Officers undergo significant training on how to provide aid.
Ooh, let's move past this shooting where the guy wasn't armed, didn't have a chance to show his hands, and did nothing wrong. Let's move away from the fact that we killed him to our training in our first aid. This is called deflection, redirection of the simple-minded sheep.
After the shooting, the officer called for help and immediately began rendering aid.
Yay! Government immediately gave help. Yay! If we only had more government, they could help more people.
Chino Valley Fire District paramedics rushed the man to a local hospital where he later died of his injuries. The man was identified as 49-year-old Li Shi Wong of Fontana. The home remained a crime scene for the next several hours as evidence was...
I wonder if he was kin to that pilot that crashed that plane. Something wrong. What was his name? Kind of sounded like that.
collected. The woman was arrested for cultivation of marijuana and grand theft. Investigators also determined the pair operated another marijuana grow house in Fontana.
Now, is this the other house that they're showing, or are they just showing the other house to make it look like we killed this guy, but look how bad they were? They kind of fronted over that, so I'm not... This is their propaganda piece.
In all, detectives seized nearly 1,500 marijuana plants, $35,000 in cash, and evidence of grand theft.
The grand theft, they're stealing electricity, they're bypassing the box. You can tell here they are bypassing the electrical box so they don't have to pay, you know, the light bill in these houses like $5,000 a month when you have a marijuana grow, because they leave those big bright lights on all the time in every room. So it's about $5,000 a month. So the electric companies tend to report, hey, this place has a $5,000 a month electric bill. That's kind of high. Well, to avoid that, you go around the meter and then you don't have to pay any electric bill and you get all free electricity. Well, Rick, that sounds like whatever. I thought they showed it better, but that's not a really good picture on how they're bypassing. But anyway.
In excess of $105,000. There were no weapons found in the house.
Ooh, no weapons. That mean marijuana plant was there. And man, they were growing it. And they were using water and electricity. And one of them died because he was asked to show his hands. But because of our expert training and aid, we immediately gave aid to him. And he died later at the hospital. All is good. Government saved the day. And all is good. And we saved the day because government was there to help and protect and serve. Yay, government! If we only had more, we could be so much safer. All right, we'll end that there.